President Volodymyr Zelensky said he had a substantive call with U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner. Amid growing criticism, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth defended the strikes on alleged drug smuggling boats in the Caribbean. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said he had a substantive call with U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner. The call followed after talks between U.S. officials and a Ukrainian delegation that aimed to bring an end to Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Zelensky added that Ukraine would continue to keep working in good faith with the U.S. and that the next steps and formats for the talks have been agreed on. Speaking in the U.S., the country's special envoy for Ukraine, Keith Kellogg, said a deal to end the war in Ukraine was very close. He added that two key remaining talking points still under negotiation were that on the topic of territory, especially the Donbas region, and the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Zelensky is expected to speak with European allies next and is meeting with leaders from France, Germany, and the UK in London on Monday. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth defended the strikes on alleged drug smuggling boats in the Caribbean and emphasized that President Donald Trump can take military action as he sees fit to defend the nation.
Here again, we've been focused, and here we've been clear. If you're working for a designated terrorist organization and you bring drugs to this country in a boat, we will find you and we will sink you. Let there be no doubt about it. President Trump can and will take decisive military action as he sees fit.
Hegseth has faced growing scrutiny over an attack in September in which U.S. forces launched a follow-up strike that killed survivors of an initial hit on a suspected drug vessel. The incident raised concerns over the legality and oversight of the operation. Hegseth says he had not been present when the second strike was ordered, but defended the decision, saying he would have made the same call himself. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that Israel and Hamas are set to begin the second phase of their ceasefire shortly, once the last hostages' remains are returned. Netanyahu made the comment during German Chancellor Friedrich Merz's first visit to Israel as head of state. In a press conference, the two expressed clear differences when speaking on the topic of Gaza and a two-state solution, yet both were also keen to emphasize a commitment to maintaining a close bilateral relationship. Merz stood up for Israel's existence and security, but simultaneously said it must be held accountable under international law.
Im Verlaufe dieses langen Krieges hat uns aber das Vorgehen der israelischen Regierung auch in ein gewisses Dilemma geführt. Deutschland muss für Israels Sicherheit einstehen. Und Deutschland muss für Menschenwürde und Recht einstehen, die den Kern unserer Verfassung.
Merz said the second phase of the peace process must begin soon and said a Palestinian state as part of a two-state solution is the way forward towards lasting peace. Netanyahu contradicted the chancellor on the point of the two-state solution, a possibility he has repeatedly rejected in the past. Prior to the meeting, Merz visited the Yad Vashem Holocaust Museum in Jerusalem, where he laid a wreath in memory of those killed during the Holocaust.
At least 25 people have died in a deadly fire that broke out in a popular nightclub in the Indian state of Goa. The club is located in the northern village of Arpora, around 25 kilometers away from the state's capital, Panaji. Goa Chief Minister Pramod Sawant expressed his condolences to the victims and says a probe has been launched to identify the exact cause of the blaze. He noted that most of those killed were kitchen staff who worked at the venue, adding that 3 to 4 tourists are also believed to have lost their lives. Local police suspect the fire was caused after a gas cylinder exploded, but others speculate that fireworks or pyrotechnics may have caused it. The club is also believed to have been operating without a license. Sawant says anyone found responsible for this incident will be dealt with firmly if negligence is confirmed to be the cause.